Welcome to the channel Adventures with Angela. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Have you ever stumbled upon the Rake Creature? If so, please let me know down in the comments down below. The Rake. As the sun begins to set and the trees huddle together in small dark groups as if shedding themselves against the coming of night, you step quietly and quickly through the carpet of fallen leaves and stray twigs, every snap of a branch created by your own footfalls. You note them so that you can distinguish them from the other sounds. The soft rustling of leaves, the crack of the breaking somewhere behind you. You increase your speed, knowing that night is not the only thing drawing closer. The sound is increasing as you pace and heartbeats quicken. You turn and in the fading light catch a single glimpse of the hunched, crawling thing that is pursuing you, creeping forward like an animal, but yet looking so horribly human. You only caught a single glimpse, but then you start to run. One glimpse is enough, mostly associated with the image of a bald, pale-skinned creature hunched at an angle, with bright orb-like eyes staring into the camera. The Rake has become a stable of creepypasta monster, adopted by many authors as shorthand for a creature resembling the one depicted in the photos and placed in various settings. During the summer of 2003 events in the northeastern United States involving a strange human-like creature sparked brief local media's interest before an apparent blackout. Little or no information was left intact as most online and written accounts of the creature were mysteriously destroyed. Primarily focused in Monroe, New York State, self-proclaimed witnesses told stories of their encounter with a creature of unknown origins. Emotions ranged from extremely traumatic levels of fright and discomfort to an almost childlike sense of playfulness and curiosity. While their published versions are no longer on record, the memories remain powerful. Several of the involved parties began looking for answers that year. In early 2006, the collaboration had accumulated nearly 24 documents dating between the 12th century and present day, spanning 4 continents. In almost all cases, the stories were identical. I've been in contact with a member of this group and was able to get some except for their upcoming back. As I prepare to take my life, I feel it is necessary to any guilt or pain I have introduced through this act. It is not the fault of anyone other than him. For once I woke and felt his presence, and once I woke and heard his voice and looked into his eyes, I cannot sleep without fear of what I might next await to experience. I cannot ever wake up and say goodbye. Found in the same wooden box were 2 empty envelopes addressed to William and Rose and 1 loose personal letter with no envelope. I have experienced the greatest terror. I seen his eyes when I closed mine. They are hollow, black. They saw me and pierced me. His wet hand. I would not sleep. His voice unintelligible. He came to me in my sleep. From the foot of my bed, I felt a sensation. He took everything. We must return to England. We shall not return here again at the request of the Rake. 3 years ago, I had just returned from a trip from Niagara Falls with my family for the 4th of July. We were all very exhausted after a long day of driving, so my husband and I put the kids to bed and called it a night. At about 4 a.m., I woke up thinking my husband gotten up to use the restroom. I used a moment to steal back the sheets, only to wake. In his process, I apologized and told him I thought he had gotten out of bed. He then grabbed me and said nothing. After adjusting to the dark for a half a second, I was able to see what caused the strange reaction. At the foot of my bed, sitting and facing away from us, there was what appeared to be a naked man or a large hairless dog of some sort. Its body's position was disturbing and unnatural, as if it had been hit by a car or something. For some reason, I was somewhat under the assumption that we were supposed to help him. My husband was peering over his arm and knee tucked into the fetal position. occasionally glancing at me before returning to the creature. In a flurry of motion, the creature scrambled around the side of the bed and then crawled quickly in a flailing sort of motion right along the bed until it was less than a foot from my husband's face. The creature was completely silent for about 30 seconds, or probably closer to 5. It just seemed like a while, just looking at my husband. The creature then placed its hand on his knee and ran into the hallway leading to the kids' room. I screamed and ran for the light switch, planning to stop him before he hurt my children. When I got to the hallway, the light from the bedroom was enough to see it, crouching and hunched over about 20 feet away. He turned around and looked directly at me, covered in blood. I flipped the switch on the wall and saw my daughter, Clara. The creature ran down the stairs while my husband and I rushed to help our daughter. She was very badly injured and spoke only once more in her short life. He said he's the Rake. My husband drove his car into the lake that night while rushing our daughter to the hospital. He did not survive. Being a small town, news got around pretty quickly. The police were helpful at first, and the local newspaper took a lot of interest as well. However, the story was never published, and local television news never followed up either. For several months, my son Justin and I stayed in a hotel near my parents' house. After we decided to return home, I began looking for answers myself. I eventually located a man and got in contact and began talking about our experiences. He knew of 2 other people in New York who had seen the creature we now refer as the Rake. It took the 4 of us about 2 solid years of hunting on the internet and writing letters to come up with a small collection of what we believed to be accounts of the Rake. None of them gave any detailed history or follow-up. One journal had an entry involving the creature in its first 3 pages and never mentioned it again. A ship's log explained nothing of the encounter, saying only that they were told to leave by the Rake. That was the last entry in the log. There were, however, many instances where the creature visit was one of a series of visits with the same person. Multiple people also mentioned being spoken to, my daughter included. This led us to wonder if the Rake had visited any of us before our last encounter. I set up a digital recorder near my bed and left it running all night, every night for 2 weeks. I would tendency scan through the sounds of me rolling around in my bed each day when I woke up. By the end of the 2nd week, I was quite used to the occasional sounds of sleep while blurring through the recording at 8 times the normal speed. This still took almost an hour every day. On the first day of the 3rd week, I thought I heard something different. What I found was a shrill voice. It was the Rake. I can't listen to it long enough to even begin to transcribe it. I haven't let anyone listen to it yet. All I know is that I've heard it before, and now I believe that it spoken when it was sitting in front of my husband. I don't remember hearing anything at the time, but for some reason, the voice in the recorder immediately brings me back to that moment. The thought that must have gone through my daughter's head makes me very upset. I have not seen the Rake since it ruined my life, but I now know that he has been in my room while I slept. I know in fear that one night I'll wake up to see him staring at me.